Welcome to Spiritual Bites.
We've just been in the background going, wait a minute, we got to do this, we got to do that, blah, blah, blah.
We're running a little bit late, but that's okay. We're here.
Yeah. We'll make sure that next time. You know why I was late? I've got to confess. You know why I was late? Because I decided to clean my shower while I was in the shower.
I do that all the time. Like, just while I'm here.
Yeah, that's right. I just thought I had time, right?
Yeah.
So for those that we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Elizabeth Eleanor, and I run the spiritual, so they call me Elizabeth Eleanor, the spiritual warrior, and I've got Women of Light movement Facebook group, and I'm on all the other things too. Well, you can check them out. And I'm a spiritual healer and mentor, and I run courses and blah, blah, blah. And we'll talk about that later. But Nicolette, go for it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicolette Jane. I'm an artist, poet, and energy healer. I have a group called Soul Friends, which I think the link is in the link will be somewhere. And I've been on this healing journey myself for about 7 years. And Elizabeth and I have known each other for a couple of years, and we really gel and speak the same language. So Spiritual Bites is about us having a yak about our own experiences and taking any questions related to spiritual growth, basically. So super excited to be here. I'm like, we get to do this every Monday. How great.
Yeah. And so this is hi,
Helen.
Helen's just jumped on and said hello. She's registered. I'm just about to put the registration link in. So if you, and so Raya has as well, good morning. If you have, would like to see your name up in lights, then jump in and click the link in the chat. It's a restream. It's called chat.restream, and then we will be able to register your name in there, or it registers it. I don't do it, and then we get the opportunity to see who's saying good morning to us. So good morning, Monday morning. Irene is here as well. So lovely to have some people on here chatting with us. So what are we going to chat about today?
We're talking about past lives today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Juicy. Straight
Very
in.
Exciting. So both of us, this is a fave for both of us. So those that this is the first time you've experienced myself or Nicolette, when I first spiritually woke up, which was 25 years ago, I reckon, 24 years ago, actually. My daughter's 27 now, so she was about 3 at the time. And I had no idea what was going on because I had no friends around that, connected or was spiritual or anything. Went to a meditation circle at a spiritual church sort of thing. It was a spiritual center, and found myself within about a month of in a small little group doing past lives. One of the women was writing a book, and I'm featured in that book. And so it's 7 years of it really, really intense work on myself. And in that process, I was out of the 5 or 6 people that were sort of the main sort of group of us. I was really the only one that was moved into doing past life regression with people. And then I sort of tweaked it, like when that sort of process and cycle finished and that season finished in my life, I started incorporating other things into it and made it more my own and made it more multidimensional healing, because it wasn't just
so many aspects, right? But past lives can have a really big impact.
That's right.
Yep.
So do you want to share your little, you start working with people with past lives, Nicolette?
Yeah, I will. So I have been working with people. Well, I've been working with people around past lives within my other healing for maybe about 12 months. I was starting to do it when Elizabeth and I can't remember the time frames, but I remember my first experience with it, that I understood that I was going into a past life vision myself. My partner had a heart attack, and prior to the heart attack, I was doing a lot of healing on him, and I had this overwhelming feeling that he was going to be taken away from me, or he was going to leave me, and he had a heart attack and almost did leave me.
Is this your partner you got now?
Yeah, Andrew.
Oh wow.
And then over time, I started working with you, but prior to working with you and doing past life regressions with you, I was having all of these visions, and I had a beautiful person come into my life, beautiful woman come into my life who lived with us for a while, and I felt so connected with her, like out of this life connected with her. And the visions were, we were on horseback, and Andrew and I were together in that life, and Andrew was riding away from me, and I had this feeling of I'm never going to see him again. And I turned and looked at the person next to me, and it was her. And I thought, and it made complete sense why I had such a connection with her. She obviously supported me in that life, similarly to how she supports me in this life. And there was a really powerful, holy cow,
moment.
We've all done this before.
Yeah.
Sort of moment.
And so just to back up, I'm going to ask everyone a question. Has anyone here experienced a past life, had a regression of some sort with either Nicolette or I or somebody else, or are just interested? I'd love to know who's on here so that we can sort of cater to talking about it, because we want to talk about this more than once, actually, because it's such a big topic, right?
It's huge.
So I just want to go over the fact that most people, there's this thing out there that, past lives, everyone, someone was Cleopatra and, Tutankhamun and Jesus and blah, 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 right? But you're sharing an experience that wasn't any of those, right? So, this is my understanding after doing, this is 20 odd years of working in this way. And I actually don't really do it anymore. I do other stuff. But one of the things that I just wanted to share about past lives is I don't believe in them anymore in such that they're
in that structure of I know.
Past. And going into what we spoke about last week, this is the rights and wrongs of spirituality, and how I've seen spirituality develop and evolve in its own right, because in the 60s, 70s, rebirthing and past lives was a really big thing, and then 80s and 90s the past life and came in, and then people started moving out of that into the understanding that it's a vibration that's in you right now. So we have particles of consciousness. So, in my understanding, everything is a particle, and all particles have some sort of consciousness to it. And so
and a vibration.
A vibration, yeah. And so if there's something that's blocking your ability to just be in your higher self and you're connected, intuitively, then those particles can be blocking that, and sort of like, they do in acupuncture, where they put a needle in, going into a past life and reliving something to understand where it was, and then shifting it. So a lot of people from what I've heard and what I've understood from people doing past lives with other people, people will go in and read cards and go, oh, you were this, this, and this. I remember going to a spiritual basic class way when I was a teenager, just plain, when spirituality wasn't a thing, like they didn't even have spiritual bookshops. Like there was no spiritual books in the normal bookshops. It was down a laneway in the suburb I was
in a locked cupboard.
Yeah, that's right. It was all coveted, And I remember being in that experience, and I remember thinking I would never get past 21. Actually, I must have been around that age, because the woman told me I died in battle by a knife, like a sword, at the age of 21. And I'm like, that's why I feel like that's the case, right?
Yeah.
And so, but knowing it and then going back and experiencing it and shifting whatever the choices were that you made that caused it to be a block in the first place helps you now shift the blocks that are in you and clears it, so that you can, like, in the way I understand it, the way we've talked before, so you can get to the fulcrum at the top instead of swinging like the pendulum, right? So yep. I brought this time. I was talking about it the other day. So that you're able to shift it, and then the parts of you become more whole and you become more fluent in who you truly are, right?
Yeah, that's similarly to how the way that I understand it and the way that I experience it with my clients is that holding the space for someone, for me with a client, holding the space for someone to go back into a scenario that is connected with whatever it is that they need to release right now, gives them an understanding that the intensity of how they're feeling right now is actually not just about this moment. It's about all of the other things that have stacked up. And so having the understanding of it allows them to go, oh, okay, that's actually not relevant for me right now. I can release it and go, that was a past life, or that was, talking outside of past lives, that was something that happened to me when I was 4 or whatever. And to be able to release it and go, oh, I've got all this space back, because that intensity of emotion isn't sitting there waiting to be released.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've found working with you that my knowledge of it really increased and accelerated. And the way that you end a session with I am new now, as the anchor to remind us not to go back into the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So for me, with that story that I just told about being on horseback and Andrew riding away and me never seeing him again, saying I'm new now puts it back in context of that's what happened then.
Yes.
And it's not what's happening now.
Yeah.
So I don't need to feel that way now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's re-establishing who you are in this moment without all that dross. Yeah. So we've had a few people saying that they've had past lives before. I like doing this little button thing.
And thank you for the compliment on my hair. I'm not sure who that was. It just
that was Irene.
Oh.
Yeah. So a couple of people have said they have. I'm not sure who this is. Someone here said that she's had a session with me. So just to share what can change for you, I want to share one of my first, because when I first started doing past lives, I didn't really believe in them, actually. Like I'm a Virgo, right? I'm very earth-based, very grounded, need to see physical evidence, And so I was going through this process only because I had some weird stuff going on for me. So I was, like, what's going on? I need to know more. And one of the first sessions that I had that I went, there's something in this, was when I was a bum on the street. So this is no I have been high up people, and we'll talk about that another time. But I remember being a bum on the street. I remember my shoes were full of holes and dirty and rips in them and all that sort of stuff. They were only just hanging on. I was really dirty. My hair was dirty and scruffy. And I remember the street light. So I don't know, this is why I now say multidimensional healing, because it could have even been another timeline, right? So this is way back. My kids were really little. And the lady that was facilitating me said, so I was just about to go, like I was ready to leave the planet, right? I'd had enough, whatever was going on in my life. And so the lady that was facilitating me, she said, let's go back prior to that. Where did this come from? Let's go back and find out. And I'm like 7 years old. And at the time, because it was brand new to me, the whole experience, all I saw was a void, but I had an image of being a 7-year-old and all these people around me. And I was trying to explain to them that we're all one and all you got to do is love each other and blah, blah, blah. It was all very simple language.
Mm-hmm.
And no one was listening because I was 7. Now, all my life, not now, because I'm just about to turn 50, but all my life prior to that, I always was the youngest in all the groups, and was not seen as having any wisdom because of my age and that sort of thing, right? So here I was, 7 years old, trying to share
this oneness message.
Yeah, this oneness message, right? And no one's listening. And so she came in her light body and stood next to me, and she said, this child's got a message for everyone. So she got everyone to listen, and I got to share my message. Well, she then says, let's go back to when you're in your 30s, 40s, whatever it was. And here I was a man, and I was walking down the street with clean clothes on, and people were seeing me and looking at me with admiration and knew me in the community. But physically, as I went back into that life, like into that age, I physically could feel my hair was short and clean. And I just went, oh my gosh, I could feel it on my head.
Yep.
And that's when I went, there's something here, there's something in this. So even if you're not quite sure about, past lives or whether they're true, or, your belief system may be, a religion that past lives aren't accurate, whatever is going on has got a physical aspect to it.
And when you have a facilitator that's taking you through a process, and I just want to explain, like Elizabeth just said, I was a man, I was this, and people who haven't had the experience probably like, what do you mean you were a man? So when you have someone take you into a regression or a process, and they're facilitating you and saying, and getting you into that state of being out of your body and into a different space where you can see and feel and visualize things that are outside of your body, and then that the facilitator will ask, well, what can you see once you get into that state? It's like, what can you see? What clothes are you wearing? What's on your feet? And because someone's facilitating you, it's that there's a trust there that whatever drops into your mind is true. For that this is my experience anyway. So
yeah.
So you literally in this state, and you look down and like the last one that we did together, I was wearing, I just dropped back into it. I was wearing a linen dress, and I was a child, and I had no shoes on my feet. And there's I just dropped straight into it. And whatever that experience is that comes out is what you were meant to experience during that session, to be able to connect with whatever it needs you need to connect with, to release and let go and surrender and accept that those are parts of who you are or who you were.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's a past life or whether it's some movie you saw on television or something your mother said to you. It doesn't actually matter what it is. We use the word past lives because it's kind of recognized, I guess. Hey,
Yeah,
Elizabeth.
that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree. It's, whether it's made up or not, it's an image in your head that's um, doing something in your now experience. Absolutely. And that's the thing, like I like to go into a past life, facilitate someone to go in, and knowing that who are we to control it, like what you were just saying, whatever we need for that now moment is going to come up. So I just wanted to share, I know we're close to finishing, just wanted to share something that Marianne's put here. She's put, I don't think learning about past lives is all about releasing sadness or trauma. Sometimes it's just really interesting info to understand things about ourselves, like our likes and who we are connecting with in this life from then. Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Yeah. I personally have experienced, though, that to get to the really gutsy stuff, you people need to shed those lower vibrations first.
Yeah.
And so often you find the things that are coming up are the sadness, are the traumas, are the things that are causing those lower vibrations to hold you in a consciousness that's not elevated to recognize the things that are around you that are like those connections that you've got, like all the people that are around you and the things you like. Just to I know we've got maybe 4 minutes because we were 4 minutes late and my cat wants to come in. I just wanted to share an experience of that after a while of doing past lives, and that's why we want to do this again, right? Because we've got so many stories to share. And if you've got any questions as well, like if you want to ask any questions. But I remember once going, and I'm just trying to think how it started, but I actually went with Archangel Michael, and there was something I actually had to heal within both of us for some reason. And through that process, I remember him holding my hand and we went up to somewhere, right? I'll have to go because I'll have to look in the book at all the stuff that I've got so many experiences, 7 years, you can imagine, right?
Yeah.
But I came out of that and I remember just going up with him into this beautiful place. And I came out of that session. So I didn't really release, I suppose I did at the very start of it, but I came out of that session buzzing so much that I actually I was supposed to go and pick my kids up from school, and I was an hour away, right?
Yep.
And I had to ring someone up because I couldn't put my hands on the steering wheel because I couldn't close my hands.
There was so much energy going through you.
Yeah, there was so much energy. I was buzzing so much that I just couldn't, and I was doing everything I could to ground. And I ended up having to ring up a friend and say, "Can you go and get the kids until I can drive?" Because I just couldn't drive. So I
know we have to go soon, but I feel like the next session that we do, I'd like to talk about past lives and soulmates, and that feeling that you have when you meet someone and you feel like you already know them, you've already met them, and there's so many levels to your connection vibrationally that are not explainable.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds really good. So so next time we'll do past lives again, hey?
Yeah.
Sounds good. So how can people get in contact with you, Nicolette, and what do you do?
Okay. So I do a multitude of things. I'm an artist, obviously, but in a healing capacity, I do something called body and soul harmonization. So it's a range of processes that I take people through. Past lives can be part of it if that's necessary. I have my own oracle cards, which are all my own artwork and poetry. I've got 3 decks. That's a big part of my modality. So I do that. I do that session, and I've got an in-person one in Toowoomba coming up, and a online one in the next couple of weeks. And I've also got those are a paid event. They're $150 for 90 minutes, and you get a full chakra clearing and up leveling of your energy. And I actually have a Meditate and Mingle event, which is on Thursday, which is a free event. If anyone wants to just jump in and get a card reading from me and sound healing and meditation, that's on this week as well. So that's what I've got coming up.
And that's online, that one?
That one's online, yes.
Yeah, awesome. Are you in lockdown?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, Nicolette is Soul Friends. And also, I think I put the link in above. Yes, I did, to Soul Friends. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So you can jump in there and go and check out. And I've got all 3 of her decks, her card decks. So they're beautiful. So, so what do I do?
You do, Elizabeth. And what have you got coming up?
Yeah, well, I've actually got a meetup tomorrow coming up that has just been changed because the guest speaker is not well. And so I'm working out what to do. I've potentially got a woman that does angel reading. I've just asked her if she wants to jump in. So stay tuned for that. And anyone that's RSVP'd to that, it's not going to be talking about numbers, sorry. On Friday, so what do? I do a range of different things, but what's the biggest thing that I'm doing at the moment is a thing called recoding and moving us out of our limiting beliefs and our limiting structure that holds us to be like identifying with that, small self that is here on the planet, and moving into the limitless aspect of who we are that's completely connected to our higher self and knows that we're here to live on the planet at this time. We chose to be here at the moment, right? With all the craziness that's happening, there's a reason that we chose to be here. So in any, if there's any time in your history as a small person, like Elizabeth, Nicolette is her, as our identity, now is the time to be reconnecting with your intuition, your higher self, and understanding why you're here every step of the way, and getting rid of it and clearing that fear, that doubt, the worry, concern that's being passed around everywhere on the planet to try and keep us at a low vibration. So basically, I recode that to move you into your higher self so that you're living in your higher self here on the planet and reconnecting with that. So I've got a session coming up on Friday that's just a one-off for people to do a taste tester. I've got 2 courses that I run. Awaken the Lioness is one of them, and the other one is Conscious Creator Mastermind. But I thought I'd do a taste tester for those that would like to just see what recoding is, because
I highly recommend a recode. It's a massive part of my practice now since I've been working with Elizabeth, and it's very, very powerful. And can I just add that the reason why you want to be stepping into acting as your higher self, what's on my walls is an example of why you want to shift all of that doubt and insecurity about the things that you want to express in the world. Because when you step into who you truly are meant to be, and for me in this life, it's an artist, a poet, and a healer, and that when you step into that, it's like taking your first breath almost. It's like so working with a healer, whether you resonate with Elizabeth or with me or someone else, to shift you into that state of acting as your higher self. just go ahead and do it, because the spiritual work and the deep work to get you to that point, and we're always evolving, right? But there's a lot that shifts in the first little.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're interested in finding out more about the monthly recode, I've actually just discounted it heavily, just because of lockdown, and I know where people are at and all that sort of stuff. So it's a massive discount at the moment. Get in contact with me at Elizabeth Eleanor on Facebook if you want to, or in one of these groups, and we'll be able to just tag me, and we'll be able to get in contact and give you the link for that. So I think we're done.
Yeah. Another beautiful.
Yeah. So that's been fun. I love this. I love the platform, and I'm mucking around with it and stuff. So
it's awesome.
Okay,
also, we will put the link to the podcast, so you can go back and listen to the previous ones, and keep that in your pocket in your phone too.
Yeah. Sounds good. And so next week is Past Lives and Soulmates.
Yes. Let's do it.
Good. Okay, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Monday and your week.
Bye.
See ya.